Before we get into today's Cowboys winners and losers from the first preseason game, we will be back live again later today, part of our Monday, Thursday live schedule. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Let's talk winners and losers from the first preseason game. Remember, it's the preseason. I care a lot more about how various individual players look than what the final score is. Yeah, it would have been nice to win. Yeah, you feel bad you had 4 interceptions and lost. But I think the individual performances carry so much more weight in the preseason. So first up on my winners list, look, a lot of these players who did not play today, I think is a clear indication that their roles are carved out, that they're set in stone, they're going to be on the roster. You know, those players, guys like Ezekiel Elliott even too, didn't play, are on this team. 3 notable players I want to shout out here. Jalen Tolbert didn't play. Why? He's your number 3 receiver. I think he's locked into that role. That's how good he's been in camp. Kevontae Turpin did not play. They could have put him out there on returns. He's going to be your return man. He has a role on the offense. And Donovan Wilson, by the way, you know, the safeties, Markquese Bell, Wanye Thomas, they played like an entire half of action today. That's a lot. Wilson did not. I think he's clearly safety 2 alongside Malik Hooker. Next up on your preseason winners list, the pick party members. The 4 in Stetson Bennett apparently stands for 4 interceptions that he threw. Honestly, they were kind of all gift wrapped to an extent. Like they were right at the defender. He just didn't see it well. Markquese Bell had the interception. Eric Scott, I don't think had a great start to the game. A lot of times like, big first down to Jordan Whittington. Eric Scott in coverage. He had a nice interception. That was just an instinct play by Scott. He's carrying the receiver on the drag. The receiver stops. He stops, reading the QB's eyes, picks it off. Now, Bennett should have seen him, but it was a great play. Julius Wood is listed as a safety. I'm pretty sure he played safety, but I've seen some Cowboys.com guys list him as a linebacker. He's a box player, potato. But he had a nice interception there. Brock Moggensen in just a little hook zone, just right there, makes a nice interception. A lot of those pick party players I thought played very well overall. Most notably, I do want to shout out Markquese Bell, too. Markquese Bell was awesome today. Like, I think you would make the argument, and you'd probably be right. And Markquese Bell was the best player on the football field. He was a starter last year for Dallas. I kind of don't think they needed to have him out there as much as they did. He had 9 tackles today and an interception. It was great. No one looked better out there in the football field than Markquese Bell did, which was expected, but he delivered on it. Who is your biggest preseason Week 1 winner for the Dallas Cowboys? It's the pinned comment on today's show. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there. Let me know. I'll give this to Tyler Guyton. He had 1 drive in the first half. I think I'm counting my numbers correctly there. And 1 drive in the second half. Pitch count because he was coming off of the illness. Look, when your offensive lineman is facing the right way, he had 1 great block on a run play too. He kind of decleated somebody, or at least partially decleated him. And you're not mentioning anything like, who got beat? That wasn't the case today. I thought it looked good. And with Chuma Edoga now in a boot, he was in, that was the update from after our postgame show, in a boot, Guyton's your left tackle. No way to slice it otherwise. He's going to be your left tackle Week 1, barring injury. And I'll be honest, I thought Cooper Rush played pretty well today. Now, it was 1 drive. The deep ball probably should have had some more juice on it, but if you're going to overthrow or underthrow, you pick the underthrow because it often leads to PI. 2 of 3, 44 yards. Look, I'll be honest here. Cooper Rush plays half the game, the Cowboys win that game. That's what I think. If we are objectively saying who was the better quarterback in this game, Trey Lance or Cooper Rush, I was pretty darn clearly Cooper Rush was better. Talk about Lance here in a little bit. Rico Dowdle. Look, I don't think he should play next week. I don't need him to play. Hopefully one of Royce Freeman, Deuce Vaughn are back from injury. Dowdle had 3 carries, 14 yards, had a long of 9, averaged 4.7 yards per carry. Looked explosive-ish, at least not like Tony Pollard-esque, but like he hit the holes well, got positive gains on everything. I think the shortest run was like 2 yards, but that was also on a 3rd and short, like he got it, or 2nd and 1, whatever it was. Like I thought he played well. I think nothing I've seen so far changed my opinion of this. I think Rico Dowdle is the best running back on this Cowboys roster. That might not be a good thing for your team overall, but I still think Rico is your best available option out there. Who do you think it is? Let me know in the comment section of today's show. Some wide receivers I want to give some love to. Look, Jalen Brooks had a 43-yard catch. That was the longest play of the football game by anybody. It was 30 yards longer than 13 yards longer than Jordan Whittington's 30-yard catch for the Rams. I think he's your fifth best receiver. However you want to order Turpin and Brooks, that's fine. I think he's your number 5. Will they carry a 6th? I don't know. But I think Brooks continues to make plays when counted upon. It's a good thing for him and his future and all that other stuff there. So I liked what I saw from Brooks. We got Jalen Tolbert as a kind of backdoor winner because he sat. And the third Jalen at wide receiver, Jalen Cropper. Look, there's a real chance you're going to carry 6 receivers, and half of them are named Jalen, which is kind of hilarious to think about there. I thought as a slot receiver, Cropper was good. He was back on some of the returns. Didn't get a chance to return any of them. Said it was Tyron Billy Johnson who returned him out on the kickoffs. He was back there on punt returns. If he can make a play on returns, he might make the roster as your 53rd guy, 48th active roster player, your number 6 receiver. I liked what I saw from Cropper. He kind of carried through a pretty good training camp the last week or so. Today's show is made possible by Game Time. Game Time is the place to get last-minute tickets to your next big event. You don't have to worry about, am I going to get the best deal? Am I going to save money? Am I going to get overcharged? No. Game Time takes care of you. Tickets tend to drop as the event gets closer, by the way, so you don't have to worry about waiting too much there. And the Game Time guarantee means if you find tickets in the same section and row for less, they're going to credit you 110% of the difference. You can buy tickets in seconds with 2 taps. So what are you waiting for? Go to GameTime.co to download the app, create your account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, create your account and redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. Kelvin Harmon didn't play a ton. He's probably going to be a practice squad option. But both of his catches, a 26-yard play and a 12-yard play, I thought were 2 of the better catches of the game. Those were high passes from Trey Lance that he went up and plucked down and broke a tackle on one of them. And he's a bigger body receiver. And there was plenty of draft fans of his coming out of NC State. Practice squad is probably the best case scenario here for Harmon, but he made plays. So good for him. How about the ACL Rehab Crew? In particular, I'm talking about John Stevens Jr., David Durden, and DeMarvion Overshown. 3 guys that tore their ACLs last year. And they were all out there in the first game of the preseason. David Durden had 1 catch for 16 yards. DeMarvion Overshown had he had 3 tackles total, 1 really nice solo tackle. John Stevens had 3 catches for 19 yards. Nothing wildly over crazy impactful. David Durden was on returns, though, too, by the way. Don't sleep on that part. But they played. They were out there. There's a really good Dallas Morning News story of how, they didn't have a pity party for themselves. They pushed each other. You got your cornerback room, your linebacker room. That was the rehab room. And they all grew so close that they were in, I think it was Durden's wedding. 3 guys that had never met each other in the wedding for Durden. It's an awesome story. I'm glad they're back, and they looked pretty good out there. One bonus one, by the way. Brandon Aubrey left after the game immediately. His wife was having their kid. Credit to the kid. Knowing to wait for the preseason game to watch it. That kid knows ball. Preseason losers. How about Trey Lance? Look, it's not all his fault. Sure, there were drops. Yeah, but at a certain point, got to make plays, Trey. He ran the ball well. 6 carries, 44 yards. But we know he can run. We know that Trey Lance has athletic ability, that there's arm strength. But he missed 8 sail passes. They dialed up the touchdown play. He missed. We all know if Dak Prescott missed a 4-yard touchdown pass by 4 yards, we'd all lose our damn minds. Lance missed it. I don't think the O-line always helped him. But there's a lot of scramble drill stuff back there. Was nobody really open? There were some good plays out of structure, but I need to see Trey Lance become a pure passer. I know there's the mobility stuff. That's great. Got to be a passer to make it in the NFL too. And even if it just comes to being the backup QB, it's still Cooper Rush right now. Two games to go. Time to improve, but running out of it. Confidence level in Trey Lance. Be honest with me. 1 to 10 is your scale. Frankly, one of the more disappointing performances for me was out of Ryan Flournoy. I was excited to see him back out there. He missed all that training camp stuff. Cowboys almost always find a way to get their draft picks on their roster. Unless Flournoy drastically improves the next 2 weeks, I don't know how that happens. 2 catches, 8 yards, a fumble, a drop, fumble went out of bounds at least, and it was a bad drop, and a penalty actually was against him. They called it on Tyron Billy Johnson. Lance was the one who false started and wasn't set or Flournoy was the one who restarted and wasn't set, and they called on Billy Johnson, but it was Flournoy's fault. Got to see more there. I like the athletic ability. Got to make plays. Racey McMath, next up here. Went down as 3 targets, 0 catches. Now, there were some high throws in there. There was also a drive late in the game. 3rd down. Trey Lance, there's a free rusher bearing down on him. A first down puts the Cowboys in a really good spot to win the football game, right? And Trey Lance hits Flournoy right in the hands on 3rd and 4 at the Rams 20. Drops it. Can't do it. Got to catch the ball. That could have been a touchdown drive. You're fighting for your roster life, man. If you're a receiver who can't catch, what am I going to do with you? Got to catch those balls. I hope he bounces back next week. All right, biggest preseason loser for week 1. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Go rapid fire on these next 2. I thought Earl Bostic had a really rough showing out there at tackle. When there was pressure coming against Trey Lance, I feel like Bostic watching live was the one who had the most issues. We'll see if any of the numbers change, when the PFF numbers come out, but I thought he struggled. Albert Huggins, the newly signed DT. The Rams started to run the ball when Huggins subbed in for Mozzie Smith in that game, or as part of the substitution involving Mozzie Smith. And there were a lot of times, like, who's that 4 yards downfield kind of twisted awkwardly? It was Huggins a lot. Can't have that. Can't have it. You got 2 tackles, but you got to be stout on the interior in this Mike Zimmer defense. I don't think Huggins was very stout. Finally, your pass rush depth. Nealon didn't play a ton. I thought he looked bursty enough coming off the edge. There was no Micah Parsons. There was no Tank Lawrence. Your other 5 pass rushers, which were Tyrus Wheat, Darrell Johnson, Junior Feoko, Al-Quadin Muhammad, Shaka Toney. There was a lot of time for Stetson Bennett back there. When they got pressures, it normally came on blitzes. Denzel Daxon and Al-Quadin Muhammad shared a sack that really, I thought that went to Jason Johnson. Wasn't that a Jason Johnson sack? I feel like ESPN is miscounting that one. It's tough in the preseason. I thought that was Johnson, but it doesn't really matter. They got the credit on ESPN. But do we ever call out Tyrus Wheat's name? Did you ever call out Darrell Johnson's name? Did you notice Junior Feoko out there? I thought Tony had good burst off the edge. He didn't do anything with it. Muhammad was quiet. I think you need another pass rusher on this team because I don't think Parsons, Lawrence, and Nealon are going to quite be enough.